Get it going.
Okay, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn.
Sup, America?
And Bruce McGowan.
I don't know what to say after that.
Okay, we are in the studio here with Gino Immendorf.
Gino.
Who is a private investigator, and he's going to learn us all about private investigating and sports.
You know, I'm looking at Gino, and what do you think, Bruce? It looks like little Nomar Garcia Parra.
Yeah,
that's
got,
true.
Looks just like him.
He's got the no more look.
Yeah.
Everything but the batting stance.
and the big salary.
Yeah.
Right. Not retired yet.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so let's talk about this a little bit. How are private investigators used in the sports world?
We know investigation in businesses isn't any different than in the sporting world, Edward, but the stakes are higher. And if I was going to hire, say, a box manager or someone for a tech firm, I'd do a background investigation. But when you're hiring an athlete for an owner or for a franchise, you're talking about millions of dollars. You're talking about long-term contracts. You've got to be much more discreet doing the investigation. You don't want to screw up.
Okay, so I'm kind of curious. I wonder how many players, behind the scenes, an investigator gets hired by the owner or general manager.
Oh, I'm sure in the drafting process it happens
Exactly.
all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, in fact, at the NFL combines, when the guy goes in to get his formal interview from the team,
Yeah.
I mean, they'll have stuff. You cut your ankle when you were in the third grade.
Yeah.
What about? I mean, how do they find out about that stuff? The research is amazing.
I'll tell you, Vern.
Yeah, how do you find out about that
Yeah.
stuff?
Well, believe it or not, we do go back to where they grew up.
Really?
Yeah, we do. We have investigators. Now, we don't go into the neighborhoods going, hey, I'm a private investigator. I'm just going to walk in
Yeah,
here.
sure.
Oh.
It's discreet, but we have resources. And, you're going to give somebody $20 million or a long-term contract, that kind of investment, you need to know about their character.
Mm.
So we do go back into the neighborhoods, and we do talk to their friends, and we do go to the high schools, and we do go to the colleges, And most of the times for rookies, we're free agents, people that they really don't know much about, or maybe Tennessee should have tried that with Pac-Man Jones before they
Well,
drafted.
yeah, exactly.
An example would be, I think today, if Tennessee had a first-round pick, they'd use a private investigator and take a lot more time, checking out the character of the first-round pick. But we don't leave a rock unturned, a dot not
Dotted.
a T not crossed. And we want to make sure that when we bring something back to the client, maybe it's an owner, they're going to pull the trigger on a contract like that. We don't want to leave anything unturned, and we'll do anything it takes to be discreet. But we definitely want to bring back all the information that's possible for them to make the right decision.
If Kevin Costner was here, he would love you. You know why? Because that is one of the central storylines in his upcoming movie called Draft Day. I just went to a screening. It's about what happens on NFL Draft Day in one
right. I wanna see that.
day.
Yeah.
Kevin Costner plays the general manager of the Cleveland Browns.
Huh.
And draft is coming up. Something happens with another team where the first overall pick is in question, and the whole movie is just kind of geared toward: do I pick this guy? Do not? Why does everybody love this guy? There got to be something about him.
It doesn't matter whether they draft him or not. They're still
going to stink.
Fabulous movie, but Gino, right in your wheelhouse.
Well,
You got to
yeah.
see that movie.
I want to stress as an investigator, we don't try to find something wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't want to go find out, hey, listen, they're associated with gangbangers. We want to find out, hey, they're back at the neighborhood helping out the kids.
What if you find out they are doing something?
Well, we
bad?
report that back to our client.
Yeah.
And once again, we don't judge people.
No, you're just supposed to
We
revert
put
facts.
the facts together and give our client the best opportunity to make the right decision. But the best investigation for me is coming back with good news.
What's the strangest thing you've learned about somebody? You don't have to name names, obviously, here, But what's the strangest thing you've ever learned about an athlete that you go, wow? I mean, it might have not necessarily good or bad. It could be good or bad, but just something unusual.
They like women.
Of course.
Well, who doesn't?
Like Aubrey Huff wearing his wife's underwear, right? Remember that?
What's this rated, this show here? Is it rated G?
Oh man, we're wide open.
Oh,
baby.
wow. This is America in the 21st century.
Strippers listen to us.
No holds barred.
Strippers come into play here.
Damn straight.
That's right. We're going to have our first sports stripper in next week.
That's right.
Well, I will tell you this. This is true. We do look at who they associate with and if they go to strip clubs. Because if they go to strip clubs 5 times a week, that's not a good thing.
So how do the
Unless
Patriots?
they want to bring me, then maybe I can
So in the case of the tight end Hernandez,
Yeah.
do the Patriots swing and miss? on that one?
Well, it's easy to say now. You know, if you want to know what a private investigator would be used in a murder case in the sports world, I'll tell you right now, this is a police investigation, and it started with one murder, and now he's looking at 2.
Mm-hmm.
But they have a lot of money. This guy had a lot of money before this went down. At some point, the Hernandez family is going to hire a private investigator,
Okay.
and they're going to build a case, you know, for his defense, and that's when a private investigator will come into play in a murder case like in the sports arena. But I don't know. I think they did. I think Des Bryant was an example of everybody knew he kind of had some personal issues and that he was going to maybe be a problem. So he dropped to the 18th pick, but at least they knew what they were getting with him.
Isn't that the guy with the Dallas Cowboys where
Yeah.
the guy at the combine asked him if his mom was a prostitute or something?
Ooh.
But you know, he kind of
What are you hiring? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the question.
Yeah.
he kind of told you that he was a problem coming out, and
Yeah.
you know, and that was a gamble that Jerry Jones took.
Yeah, but how many of these guys, let's say, you can see are probably problems? Wasn't like Kevin Mitchell? Didn't he grow up in?
He had a rough upbringing.
Kevin Mitchell
upbringing.
grew up in
San Diego, right?
and he grew up a gangbanger.
Yeah.
And you know, Kevin's problem was, and he was really a good guy. Kevin was a really sweet guy. He was a great teammate, but unfortunately, he did go back to the criminal element when he went back, and he got into a lot of trouble. And his career was shortened by association with the wrong people.
Yeah, but I don't think that they, like the Mets or even the Giants, are sorry that they
No,
have on the team,
no,
right?
no.
So
He
I'm
was
saying,
an MVP.
yeah, exactly. So I wonder how many times you have a situation where you know the initial prognosis is, man, stay away from this guy, but then it turns out the guy's actually, you know, it's still okay.
Or how about somebody like Ray Caruth? Now, he apparently was a model citizen, had never gotten in any trouble, and all of a sudden he's hiring somebody to murder his girlfriend and hiding in the trunk of the car. I mean, who could have seen that coming?
Well, I think Hernandez did have some red flags, and you know, there is one thing that overrides personal problems sometimes. It's the need of a tight end. And coming out of the draft, he was like the best tight end in the draft, and Belichick decided, you know, I've got pretty much control of my team. I'm like the head guy here.
Exactly. How many times do they look at it and they say, you know what, I can handle this guy.
By the way, what kind of sentence did Aaron Hernandez get? Has he been sentenced yet?
He's been charged with at least one murder, and I think they're going to try to.
Oh, he hasn't gone through the
Oh,
trial.
no, he hasn't, no.
Okay,
Wait,
I
if two
didn't.
wrongs make a right, then the second murder counteracts the first one, and he's let off, right?
What are you thinking when you're making $50 million and you go kill somebody?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, did he do the killing? It sounds like he hired somebody to do the killing, or did he do it himself?
Oh, well, no, he was there, gun in hand.
Is
That's
that
what they were
right? It was
alleging.
his buddy too, wasn't it? A friend of his.
Yeah, but
What was that all about?
He had an argument, I think, over a girlfriend.
Always about a girl.
And it was a minor league football player who he knew, I think, from growing up with.
But he was married. What is he arguing over a girl about?
well,
That's why he was
dude,
in
come
jail.
Come on. You know how many
Yeah, yeah.
You know how many NFLers have a go mile on the side? Come on.
Goma.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking for Steve McNair. Oof. You heard the story about him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, the woman, I guess he was involved with this younger woman. Wasn't it for a number of years, Fern?
Yeah.
And she killed him. She shot him. And then she did some other things, which we don't need to
that's
talk
right.
about. We don't need to talk about those things,
Yeah.
but it was pretty horrible. And she killed herself. So,
Yeah.
you know, gave the state the, you know, they didn't have to send her to trial, so they saved the state some money. I guess that's one
How
positive.
about on the other side, Gino? You're doing the research, and let's say one athlete was hanging with gangbangers, and maybe the gangbangers said, "Hey, you know, Gino, we just we recognize this guy was a talent. We wanted the best for him, so we told him to stay away from us."
Whoa.
You know, that's actually it does happen.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of times the athlete does go back and they say, "Hey, man, you know what? You made it out of here.
Right.
You know, you're
You
the
got
one-
out of the hood.
You're the one. You know, you're the one that made it. Don't blow it."
Mhm.
Okay.
That's called having at least one best friend in the right place.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
amen to that.
audience, stay with us. Gino, when we come back, why don't you talk about the minor league baseball player? He's got a really cool story. Okay, the trivia theme is NFL quarterbacks. Here's our first trivia question. Who was the first NFL quarterback to throw 3,000 completions? Okay?
Career completions.
Career completions,
Yeah, right.
yeah. Not in one game.
Not in one game.
Uh,
Not
the
one
first-
year.
Not 1 year either. Okay, the
Yeah.
first 3 emails with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. We're going to do an email this time. Email Edward at SportsEcon101 the answer to this question. Who was the first NFL quarterback to throw 3,000 completions? All right. Again, email Edward at SportsEcon101.com. Don't touch that dial, SportsEcon101. We'll be right back.
I don't know, Vernon. I'm going to say Johnny U. That's not right.
I was going to go Dan Marino.
Dan Marino. Yeah.
One
So
season.
rather than the phone number.
Was
we're
it-
doing
no, not one
emails
season.
now.
In a
No,
career.
in
In a career.
career.
Yeah, Marino broke so many records. And Marino only played in one Super
And
Bowl.
he
He got
was the first guy to throw.
skunked.
He was the first guy to throw that many passes.
Yeah.
He was the start of the passing era.
He really was.
It's just
You know, it's funny. Everybody talks about great quarterbacks. You know, Peyton Manning has all the records, and yeah, I still think Joe Montana's the best of all time.
You don't have to. He is.
He is. I mean, just based.
I'm going Johnny Unitas.
Johnny,
I'm
you know,
going
Johnny Unitas.
trees.
Johnny
Yeah.
Unitas, what they won? He won three championships. Or
But he only
maybe,
had to throw the
I'm
ball
going
15
Sammy
times, but he was
Baugh.
a game general.
yeah, he was amazing.
Unitas was calling his own plays. He was a game
Yeah,
general.
he was.
I like Daryl Lamont.
If you want to argue Montana,
Montana was. You know, Montana had that intangible though. You get it late into a game. He didn't have to pull things up, but when he did, I mean, it was just almost a routine.
I'll go Montana number 2 only because he was in a great system.
Mm.
Well, that's the thing is you get those players
Yeah, but
and
you
you have a
know,
front
but-
line like
but-
that.
but- Joe Montana put the scare into a defense by walking out of the tunnel. Unlike Peyton, who would sit there and say Oklahoma, all this stuff. Montana's kind of coolly walked up there and figured, okay, I can see right now. He gets my second
Yeah,
material.
That's true.
And
Oh,
just
he had the great.
dissect.
He had that great ability. Just I've never seen anybody who could do that since Manning, of course. But I mean, I really like Russell Wilson. I have to say
Oh,
that
yeah, me too.
kid.
Yeah, he's got a good
He,
future.
you know, as much
So
as
does,
Kaepernick has got an upside, I think Wilson's even got a better upside.
Green Bay.
he didn't go.
You
The other guy went to Green Bay. I went to Charlotte.
Get out of that one, huh?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, much better going to Charlotte.
All you got to do is go to Green Bay
Yeah.
once.
Are you done with the
No.
interview, man?
I had to go twice. So, yeah.
Okay, you guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, all the Super Bowl things that were going on with people not being able to get the. Oh,
I heard about that. It was like 5,000.
You got a Super Bowl segment in the show? A
Was it that
Super
many?
Bowl
Right,
segment?
right after.
Okay, all right.
Was it that many, Vernon, that missed going to the game because of the transportation?
Oh, was it?
screws?
Yeah,
They
it was-
missed
yeah.
that many?
5,000,
yeah.
5,000 or so.
Yeah.
Whoa!
I thought
Disaster.
Phil didn't make it to the
They
game.
couldn't make it to the game, and then by the time they could, they figured out it's over, and the game was like 35-3 or
Yeah.
something.
And so many people passed out because there was no air.
Oh my
You hear
God!
about that?
No.
Disaster. Okay.
All right.
Here we go. Having fun?
Oh, yeah.
Good. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn
Yeah, hello.
and Bruce
Manny.
McGowan.
Yes,
Okay.
indeed.
The theme is NFL quarterbacks. When we cut to the first commercial break, we asked this trivia question. Who was the first NFL quarterback to throw for 3,000 completions?
I'm going to say Johnny Unitas, but Vern.
I'm going Dan Marino.
He's
Going
going
Dan Marino.
those guys are going to Marino. I'm going to go with Johnny.
The answer was one of my favorite scramblers of all time.
Franz Tarkenton.
Tarkenton.
Ah.
That's correct.
All wrong.
Okay.
Jeez.
Now,
We're not
yeah.
going to the lighthouse, guys.
Yeah.
okay.
Russell Wilson could be the modern day Franz Tarkenton.
he
Yeah.
The way
could
he
be.
scrambles.
Jeez.
Yeah, Kaepernick too. Okay. Gino, you are a private investigator, and before we were on the air, you were telling me about an interesting story about minor league baseball player.
Well, I think we were talking about how does workers' comp relate into the sports world, and in minor league baseball, these guys got to remember this: they spend 3, 4, 5 years in the system and never make it. You know, it takes a toll on your body because they've been playing since they were kids, and they go back into another occupation, and they finally get out of sports. And we do work for Major League Baseball, and we had a case where an ex-baseball player filed a claim, couldn't use his shoulder anymore, couldn't lift 10 pounds, couldn't lift his kids, you know, put a claim in, he wanted surgery, he wanted a cash settlement, and they said, we had Major League Baseball call us and say, hey, go take a look at this guy. So we got out to where he lived, it was in another state. Found that he used to teach at a sports academy for kids for baseball. His picture was everywhere, but he no longer worked there, so we staked out his house, and the garage opened up and we saw mitts, balls, bats, helmets, I mean, nothing but baseball equipment. And then it followed him to a vacant field, and sure enough, a few minutes later, a father and his son showed up, and he starts pitching for the next hour, and this went on for 3 or 4 hours, and we were able to determine that this guy was getting the prize pupils from the school on his own, and taking them out to a field where no one could see him, while he was running a comp claim. So
Ooh.
that's just an example of how workers' comp stuff
wow.
works in baseball, but that happens on a regular basis because
Sneaky.
these guys don't get to that top level. They
Yeah.
don't make the big money.
They got to make it some way, yeah.
No one's exempt from insurance fraud.
But I assume this guy, unfortunately for him, didn't get anything.
Uh,
Got into trouble.
I think his arm got better real quick.
Yeah, really.
Well, it's too bad he couldn't have made a career continuation there, you know.
Well, I remember Brian Bosworth got either $4 or $6 million
Yeah.
in disability
That's
insurance. Both his shoulders.
Both his shoulders were ruined, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
you
from
know.
Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's really sad is when you and this breaks my heart because because when you see these old NFL players,
Oh, yeah.
these guys that just, hey, I have a headache. Well, get back in the lineup. I think I hurt my knee.
Yeah.
No, it's broken. Here's an ace bandage.
Take a pill,
Yeah.
It's just a bruise.
Be a man.
Be a man.
Yeah. Well, we had John Vella on. And
Oh, I bet you he had some stories to tell.
Oh yeah,
Because offensive linemen, those
Yeah.
guys take a. You talk about guys who take a beating.
well, he was saying when he got traded from the Raiders to the Vikings
Yeah.
in 1980, it was really cold outside
Yeah.
in Minnesota, right? And he put on he always taped his fingers.
Right.
And one of the assistant coaches comes up to him and says, "Hey man, or he put gloves.
Mm.
Sorry, no gloves." So what are you talking about? I mean,
Bud Grant didn't allow it.
Yeah, Bud Grant didn't let it. It's
That's
like, I mean, I
ridiculous.
love Bud Grant because
I
I love
did
the
too.
Vikings,
Yeah.
but it's like, come on, this
Come
isn't
on.
don't be calling these guys like wussies or something. They got to protect their hands.
Yeah.
You want them healthy for the next game.
Oh, Bud Grant used to love playing those outdoor games. I mean, when they moved into a dome, he was the first one to complain. No, you're taking away our edge,
Well, it's like when Joe Namath. They said that he was the only one there who said he wished it was colder.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Tatum playing today?
Oh, jeez.
The
penalty on everything.
arm clock over the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ouch. Yeah, he'd be kicked out of the game for so many penalties.
Tell you what, we'll probably talk about more investigation stuff, but Gino just loves sports, so he wants to talk about this. Okay, let's talk about the Super Bowl. Of
Okay.
course.
All right.
Next.
What an awful game.
Yeah.
First of all,
Awful game.
I think we've seen enough to know that Manny Ramirez is not a center for the Denver Broncos. In fact, yeah, he was a converted center,
Yeah, he said he couldn't
so he's
hear.
playing out of position.
Couldn't hear anything, but Peyton was saying it.
Peyton went to audible, and then
Yeah.
he just snapped the ball, and then it was
Yeah.
downhill
Was
from
it
there.
me? Is it me, or did Peyton seem out of sorts from the beginning?
Well, I think that play set the tone. Sometimes when we're only down to, as you were pointing out before the show,
I think Peyton knew
yeah.
from the get-go, even in the huddle. I think he
Yeah.
knew
that was just not going to be his day.
that the Seattle's front seven
Mm.
were going to be brutal on his own offensive line, and that you saw how quick his feet were
Oh
moving.
yeah.
He had to get rid of. If he was going to have any chance, he had to get rid of that rock fast.
How
And
many completions he had? More completions. That's the amazing thing.
Yeah.
They were all like 5 yards, 7
the
yards.
Seattle
4 yards.
defensive secondary they were like white on rice
Yeah.
on those receivers.
See, I
Oh.
love that
And
they
he
were
had-
all over the ball. No matter
Yeah.
where it was, it's like everybody was running to the ball.
It's
I
amazing.
mean, it's safe to say after a few minutes of that game, I mean, there was no, there was nothing to call into question.
No.
There was no
No.
ref this or this call. Seattle was clearly
Yeah.
the better football team. In fact, I would go so far as to saying that the Niners could have beaten the Broncos.
Oh yeah.
I'd say
yeah.
the
No question.
Charlotte could have beaten the
Yeah,
Broncos.
on that day, yeah.
Yeah.
On that day.
And I hate to say this, it kills me, but I think Pete Carroll did a great job having those guys ready to play.
What is it
Oh,
killing
yeah,
to say
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Pete Carroll's a good guy.
Yeah.
49er guy.
Yeah,
True, but he's a local guy for us.
Yeah, he's a local guy. I went to high school with him. Don't say anything bad about Pete Carroll. That's
Just
fight.
gave a compliment, Bruce.
I got an angry email from a viewer because I did Sunday night show, saying because I had made the point, just like all the other networks, had said that Pete Carroll joined Barry Switzer
That's right.
and Jimmy Johnson as guys who have won a college football title and a Super Bowl. The guys, you got to check your facts. Pete Carroll didn't win the 04 national. It was vacated. Technically, yeah.
He won it.
Yeah, but
I mean, technically, he didn't win
I
it.
wrote
Yeah.
back. I said, hey, you can't pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
exactly. And I think Pete Carroll's worried about whether they took it away
Heck
10
no.
years later. I don't think so.
Carroll's glad he got out when he was. Carroll
Yeah.
saw the writing on the wall, maybe before the investigators came calling.
Yeah.
He said, "Boy, I better get out of here." And he goes to Seattle.
Yeah.
And that's kind of killed Jim Harbaugh because last year his brother wins and then Carroll wins.
Yeah, and Carroll and him were not the best of friends. That the famous encounter in L.A. when he comes up to him and says, "What's your deal? You ran up the score on us. What was it, 55-10, something like that? Stanford beat USC."
Yeah.
I think it was some
Yeah.
payback there for years and years.
I think it was.
And let me tell you something, fellas. I think Seattle is here to stay.
Oh,
at
no
least for
question.
another
They're young.
couple of years. They're
Yeah.
young. They got 18 unrestricted free agents on the team, including the place kicker
Mm,
and Golden Tate.
mm,
But the rest of those core guys, they're all back.
yeah.
And they're all under contract.
And they like playing for Pete Carroll. I think Pete Carroll is the wild card in this whole thing. He is so much a player's coach, like Harbaugh. Harbaugh may be a little bit more of a tight ass, but pardon my expression. But Pete
Edgy.
Carroll, edgy. Pete Carroll
Did
is
you
like
see how he was portrayed by Frank Caliendo? You've
No.
seen that video that's gone viral?
No.
of
Frank Caliendo did a
Harbaugh.
ESPN 30 on 30 type documentary where he lampoons Harbaugh, John Gruden,
Oh.
Bill Belichick. I mean, and he nails them.
Wow, he does impressions of it?
Yeah,
Oh, I'd
absolutely.
love to see that.
Oh, you have to see that.
Frank Caliendo.
It's all over the
Gotta
place.
check that out.
I do feel kind of silly though. Didn't I say Broncos were going to
You
be
did.
27?
Well, I said it was only going to be 31-27. What did I know?
Well, can you imagine if someone
Seattle.
would have said, yeah, I'll take Seattle and I'll give you 28 points.
I was reading that Vegas broke a record. They
Yeah.
19.5 million profit, more than the last
Yeah.
3 Super Bowls
Yeah,
that's
combined, because I think so many people thought Denver was going to
Yeah.
Yeah, but in theory,
Yeah, and you look at it, you go, how the hell was Denver even favored?
I know.
Because Vegas.
The Peyton Manning hype, the
Yeah.
Peyton Manning
But-
factor.
I guess I bought into it. I
I
admit it.
I did because I remember them talking about. They mentioned this earlier, and I've heard this many times. A team with a good defense, with the best defense, always wins.
Five times a team has gone to the Super Bowl with the best defense in the NFL, and 5 times that team has won. They're 5-0 in Super Bowl history.
That's right.
The
Yeah.
5 top defensive teams.
Actually,
that
it's
made it
four.
now.
Actually, it's 4 to the before the game was 4 out of 5 because the one wild card was when the Niners beat the Broncos 55-10. That's the one. That's the one where the number one offense
That's
beat
true.
the number one defense. That's the
The
one.
Broncos had the
The
number one
Broncos had the number one.
defense that year. They
in
did.
'89. Yeah.
Is that right?
Really?
Wow. I never would have guessed that.
Yeah, that kind of
I-
surprises
yeah.
me too.
That was
Yeah.
an embarrassing game. I was at that game. I remember the Bronco players. They had that famous shot of Randy Gradishar or something. Not Gradishar, but somebody on the sidelines of the Bronco. He's got a towel over his head looking at the scoreboard. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And now they got 5 Super Bowl losses as a franchise.
Oh.
Excellent.
And every one of those has been an embarrassment.
And guess what? On next year's schedule, guess what they got? They got the NFC West
Oh.
schedule.
Ooh.
Well, they might be able to take care of Arizona.
Yeah.
I don't know. Arizona got
No,
they got
they
11
got-
wins, man.
Yeah.
They're on the rise.
Yeah.
So, Bruce, let me ask you a question. What do you think about the seeding? Do you think that needs to get changed? Us going to Green Bay?
I think it should be. I think
I
it should.
do.
I think they should do it.
Green Bay and Green Bay. Yeah.
Based on record, don't you, Vern?
I think they should do it like the NHL does. I think
Yeah.
they should get to the first round and then reseed
Yeah.
from there.
There you go.
Oh, that's a good
NHL's
idea.
got it right.
Or either that or just record. What does the NBA have? It's record for the NBA, right?
Yeah.
The top 7, like right now the Warriors, for instance, would be what, 7th or 6th?
They're 6 right now.
6 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good at that, Bill. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up a little bit. I don't know if you heard about Roger Goodell is thinking about allowing players to use medical marijuana if experts can show that it helped treat
Why
conditions.
not? Why not? It's legal in 23 states,
That's true.
and it's legal. I guess medical marijuana is legal anywhere, isn't it? If you can prove that you need
no,
it.
I don't think
No?
so. No, in
Okay.
fact, it's interesting. The marijuana is recently legalized in Colorado and Washington.
Oh.
Who's in the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Those 2 teams.
Yeah. In fact, it's funny. The head of the NFL Players Association was speaking at the Super Bowl, and his first line was, "Well, to be blunt," and everybody just started laughing. And then he figured out what he said. He goes, yeah, I didn't see that. I walked into that.
Well, speaking of Broncos, Nate Jackson, a former Bronco, a tight end, was recently on Brian Gumbel stating that half of the NFL players prefer to smoke marijuana for painkilling rather than
Oh, yeah.
opiates.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
No
And then if they
question.
tested all of the college players before the draft, that 3/4 of the draft would be eliminated.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It all started.
I can
with,
see
It
that.
all started with Bill Clinton. Okay, we're going to cut to our second.
I did not inhale.
Yeah, that's right.
I did not inhale.
I'm gonna,
I just held it in.
I did not have sex with that woman.
That's right.
Lewinsky.
Okay, here's the second commercial break trivia question. Again.
Whatever
The theme
happened to
is NFL quarterbacks.
She's doing
We'll talk
okay,
about her in a
Eric.
little
Yeah,
bit. Okay, who was the first NFL quarterback to throw for 6,000 career completions?
yeah. Ooh.
The first 3.
6,000. That's a lot. That's a lot of
That's a lot of
completions.
completions. The first 3
Wow.
emails with the correct answer win a free 3-day 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Email Edward at sportsecon101.com. Answered this question: who was the first NFL quarterback to throw for 6,000 career completions? Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 will be right back.
And I want to say
Now, I
Dan-
gotta ask you a
I wanna
question,
say Dan
Kate.
Marino, okay?
Was
Or
it Monica Lewinsky where he says I didn't inhale?
No. She didn't inhale.
I didn't
No, that's
swallow.
why he pointed
I
at
didn't
swallow.
swallow.
I did
not swallow.
have sex.
I didn't
with
swallow.
that.
How did they ever nail Clinton? They found a stain of his on her dress,
Yeah, cum stain on her blue dress.
and they
She
and
saved it.
they were able to, because of that
Remember,
little
we are
stain, they were
recording
able to
for
get
you.
It's okay.
his,
Hey, that's all right.
they were able to get his DNA off that.
I
little stain.
suppose so.
Wow. And,
Yeah.
for that, we had this
Can you,
crisis.
can you imagine the
That's
little?
a-
Can you
that's
imagine the little geeky, guy in the lab? He's going. Okay, let's see if I get a match.
The interviewed her and she went,
William Jefferson Clinton. What?
You know what amazes me? The French were probably laughing their ass off at us.
They were.
This happens every time. Every year it's our guys.
Yeah.
And the thing is, who cares if the guy was dipping it? You know, for
And the
crying
thing,
out
too,
loud.
No, the one thing I didn't like is where he said, because you know what, character doesn't matter.
Character doesn't matter.
It's like,
Well,
really? I think
yeah,
that's the only thing that matters, being president.
You know what's funny about the NFL too is they know they don't want to catch him because if they started testing everybody around for marijuana,
Oh my
half
God.
the league would be out.
Yeah.
Did that make guys smoke grass in the
They
NFL?
test the same time every year.
I thought the
Really?
NBA was the one where everybody smoked.
The NFL, no, the
It's all-
NFL, and the NFL lets you know
Everybody.
every year when they're going to test you.
And it's
So
just for the regular season. Like, you know,
it's in the off season they get tested.
Yeah.
So as soon as they get tested, they all start smoking, and the NFL won't test them because they don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
I
That's
talked
an
to
animal.
I talked to a player once. He said the way
Smart.
he said the way NFL players were able to beat those test tubes, they drink a bunch of echinacea, golden
Yeah, but
seal.
the golden seal, it does, the bus drivers have you to do that. But it takes at least, it depends on
It
your
takes
weight.
a couple of days.
If you're heavy, the white blood cells hold
Yeah.
the marijuana in it.
THC.
THC.
Yeah.
But you have to drink it like 3 gallons for like 3 or 4 days.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Not that I've ever done that, but if you have to do that.
And that's going to cost you a lot of money too, because a little bottle is. You know, I used to drink it because it's a what it'll do.
Detox?
Well, no, it's also if you want to build up a resistance in the wintertime. You know?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's
No,
very good
we
for
do
that.
too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn
what up?
and Bruce McCowan.
It's up.
Okay, when we asked cut to the second commercial break, we asked this trivia question again. The theme is NFL quarterbacks. Who was the first NFL quarterback to throw 6,000 career completions?
Peyton Manning.
Okay,
No, Dan Fouts.
Dan
Dan
Fouts.
Fouts. Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning,
I'm going to go back to Dan Marino.
Brett Favre.
Brett
Favre.
Oh my God! Should have gotten that one.
Wow.
Okay, boy. Okay, we'll see if we can get you on the.
Where did
Hopefully in the last
Brett Favre go to college, by the way? Southern
Mississippi.
Southern
Yeah,
That's right.
talk about the obscure school. Wasn't
Right,
there?
yeah.
There's somebody else that went to Southern Mississippi.
Jerry Rice.
No, he went to
no,
Mississippi
no,
Valley.
Mississippi
There
Valley
was
State.
a big name player recently who went to Southern Mississippi. Who
Okay,
was it? I'll
we'll
figure
think
it
about that.
out. Okay.
It wasn't Michael Orr because he went to
No.
Ole Miss. Okay, I don't know if you guys heard about this bracket challenge here, but Quicken Loans and Berkshire Hathaway, which is Warren Buffett, have announced they'll award $1 billion to anybody with a perfect March Madness bracket.
Whoa.
Now, what do you think the odds are of having a perfect March
Now that
Madness?
just means you have to pick the winners. You don't have to pick the scores, right? The winners.
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
you
pretty
just
good
pick the winner of the
Pick the-
bracket.
That's still
Yeah.
pretty
What do you
darn.
think the odds
Did
are
it happen last year?
that anybody got perfect?
Some-
Yeah.
I don't
Really?
know. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
1,000 to 1,
No, can't. That's got to be more than that.
10,000 to 1,
It's got to be more than that.
100,000 to 1,
Got to be more than that.
million to 1,
It's got to be more than that.
a billion to 1.
4.3 billion to 1
Whoa!
are the odds of getting
Oh, my
all the. And
God.
I haven't done it on my calculator.
Yeah, how would you get all the upsets? How could you figure that out? You just have to be lucky.
Yeah,
Incredibly
that's all it
lucky.
is. Well, it's like we talked about this before, like on the business show. If you have if you have the lottery that is paying, let's say, $500 million, and if the odds are 250 million to 1, you should just get $250 million and buy every single combination.
Yeah, there you
The only
go.
problem, though, is that it's an aggregate winner. So if you have 2 people winning, you each win 250.
There you go.
Right, so that could be a problem.
That could be.
Okay, Andrew Bynum doesn't like the repetitive nature of fundamentals. How can a team interview a player ahead of time to see those potential problems? Oh, we have an investigator here. What would you do in a situation like that?
I'd go very slowly and very carefully. And I'd say, I want to see you shoot a free throw. I want to see you dribble. I want to see you guard somebody. I want to see you dunk.
Yeah,
The simple things like, basketball basics. That's what I would do.
now with Lamar Odom, you've got, the Kardashian influence.
Is he still playing, by the
I
way?
don't think so. I don't think anybody's picking him up.
Well, yeah, he's doing okay. I mean, he's still on the reality show, isn't he?
I don't think so.
I don't think so,
No,
man.
It just lasted a year. That was amusing, though. I'm not a reality
Well,
show person,
when
but
you get thrown out,
yeah, that's true. I got a kick out of that though. When the little interchanges with his wife were hysterical. It was almost like the whole thing was scripted. I couldn't believe the guy was living this way. And he was a character.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sure you guys have heard this. Finish off with this football thing here. Finally, our guy, Great guy.
Yay!
Getting into the Hall of Fame.
Yay!
Speaking of Southern Mississippi,
That's the guy I'm
oh,
thinking of.
great
That's
guy.
the guy. Right
Okay,
guy, yes.
what a
That's the
coincidence.
guy.
We just happened to get
Well, he was there during the glory years, 1973 to 1985 or 86.
Yeah.
They won 3 Super Bowls when he was there.
Yeah, I mean,
And nobody ever returned a single one of his punts for a touchdown. Not once.
that's amazing.
And he was only blocked, I think, 6 times in his career. And once the first time ever blocked was in the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then you know what happened? The Vikings were on the goal line. No score. They fumbled the ball 2 plays later. Clarence Davis goes left for 45 yards, and the Raiders go on to win that game 32-14. I was there.
There you go.
I remember all these
You have
details.
to tip your hand to Al Davis too.
Oh yeah.
For taking a kicker at number 1 pick. So.
Yeah,
I loved
exactly.
Al Davis. Everybody, I'm not. Everybody always says, Bruce, you're an apologist for Al Davis. Well, Al Davis, I got along with him well, so he was nice to me. So I'm going to defend him. So there you go. I'm loyal to my friends.
Did a lot of great things for the
He
NFL.
did.
Absolutely.
He did.
You know,
Okay, and speaking of Al Davis and talking about like sports franchises, what's the most valuable sports franchise? What do you think?
Is the Yankees
I mean, I would have thought it would have been the
most
Yankees.
valuable sports
football team?
is it
Is
the
it
Dallas
No,
Cowboys?
Cowboys or the Yankees?
Nope. Okay, the Yankees are number 4.
Oh, you know what? Hey,
No.
no. It's
Go ahead, go ahead.
it's
You know it. You know it.
it's
Come on, give us
it.
Come on,
it's
all right,
Manchester United.
Manchester.
It
Well,
is actually. Let's see. Manchester United is number 2. You're close.
well, I'm talking. Well, that's a trick question though, because you didn't say it
I
was
just
outside
said
the
the
country.
sports. I just said.
He
sports
said sports
franchise.
fan. He didn't say American.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you have here Spain's Real Madrid.
Oh, of course.
Okay, Real
They're
Madrid.
number 1.
Okay, England's Manchester United is number 2, and Barcelona of Spain is number 3.
Wow.
Yankees are number 4 at 2.3 billion. Dallas Cowboys are 2.1 billion, so they're behind that. And 30 of the NFL's 32 teams made up the top 50.
Wow.
That's pretty amazing.
Where are our 49ers?
Okay, I didn't look at all 50,
Okay.
but a little quick trivia question: what 2 teams didn't make the top 50?
Oh, of the 32
Yeah.
of the
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville
Jags. That's right.
and
Charlotte? Charlotte?
No, I'm gonna.
Rams.
The Rams?
Very good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why they're leaving. That's why they're leaving St. Louis and going to LA. Probably. I mean, they're not doing it for sure, but
Yeah, are they going to go back to LA?
That's
yeah,
the
there's
talk now?
That's the talk. Yeah.
You know, you wonder why doesn't LA have a team?
Well, they haven't had a team since 1995.
If I live in Los Angeles, I don't want a team.
No,
that way I
you-
get all the best
You
games.
get two
every
great
weekend.
games. 2 great games in the morning, 2 great games at night. A friend of mine lives down there.
Would they be playing in the Coliseum again? Because I think one of the issues was, they
Yeah.
wanted a new stadium to get an NFL team.
Oh, they'll get a stadium built.
Fix up the Coliseum. You know?
Yeah.
They'll get a
Oh,
stadium.
wait, you're talking about for blackouts?
Yeah. No, LA gets the best 2 morning games and the best 2 evening games.
Absolutely.
Always.
Absolutely.
You're talking about
Always.
TV.
Television. Yeah.
So if they have a team, they're suddenly not good?
No.
Yeah, because
no.
the team will suck. You'll just get that one.
Yeah.
You'll get that team's
you'll get
games in the market,
Yeah, you'll get the other games.
and maybe
too.
one other game.
Yeah, you'll get a couple other games, but
I think didn't they just talk about that too? That they're going to not have blackouts. Of course, they'll change it like the weather. Or
Well, no,
something
they've
happens.
always had the blackout rule has been out for years. But what we're saying is that you could have, say, the Rams play an afternoon game. Isn't the rule that you can't have another game going up against the
Up against your market's team.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Rams fans are, Rams fans, LA sports fans. I'm sorry, they're the most. They blow with the wind. Show me a real fan who's a true fan of the Rams. Come on.
Maybe the Dodgers.
Maybe the Lakers, but the other teams down there, no, I don't.
And now the
think so.
Clippers are kind of, we got a lot of fans there.
Yeah.
It's because you got Blake Griffin and you got Paul.
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah, the Clips are starting to turn it around.
Not the same old paper clips.
No.
Paper clips.
Paper clips. Yeah.
Okay.
On paper, they're pretty good too.
That's
Yeah.
true. Okay, Matt Scherzer agrees to a 1-year deal with the Tigers for $15.5 million.
He's
Nice.
underpaid.
I was going to say,
Underpaid.
is any pitcher worth that much
He's
money?
underpaid after what he did last year. I'm just saying. If I was
the
his
thing is,
agent,
how many starts can a pitcher have?
what,
I mean, he's a
30
starter,
maybe?
right?
30.
30?
Yeah, and you can pay 160
30,
games.
33.
I mean,
Aren't there pitchers getting paid more than that though per year? I'm surprised he only signed for 1 year.
I know. I guess I'm just thinking that how much impact is one pitcher going to have?
15.
Yeah.
That's
That's
like,
standard though.
That's
What did
yeah.
Tim Lincecum got?
Lincecum,
What?
that's Lincecum.
Yeah, he's got.
Neighborhood.
Is he getting $15 million a year?
A little less than that. I think more like 12.
But
Something
that's,
like that.
yeah,
12,
and he's
14.
just average. I mean, what is he going to win? 12 games maybe for you? 15?
Yeah.
So if he comes back, maybe he'll win more.
It'll be interesting to see what they give Baumgartner.
Yeah, no, that's
Well,
the guy.
they just
Ooh,
signed him.
That's true, they did.
Yeah, they just gave him an extension.
Yeah.
I wonder how they do that. Like
He's locked up.
Yeah,
What partner is now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much did they give him?
He got a 3-year deal, wasn't it? Vern?
Yeah, they
Was
tacked on 3 years. It's double digits.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious. What if you're an owner and you happen to get lucky with somebody as a rookie and they start doing really well? Is there the inclination to kind of like go, you know what? We're going to give you this extra bonus now, even though you're not technically
That
entitled to
makes
it.
the player feel like he's more invested in it. Makes him feel like he's more wanted.
I
It's
mean,
a smart move.
Well, sort of like Kaepernick. I mean,
Yeah.
how much did he make? Last year,
He's making $744.
He's making 750, something like that.
I think it's
750,000.
probably worth a little more.
And
than that.
they don't have to pay him this year, do they, Vernon? I mean, they could just pay him a little bit more next year because I think he's not eligible for the big.
He's up after this year.
After this year, okay.
And they were
He's
talking
unrestricted.
about putting a franchise tag on him if they didn't
Yeah.
sign him. But,
Yeah.
but if they do that, then he becomes a free
He'll
agent
make-
after that
Yeah.
and goes somewhere else.
Yeah.
Robinson Cano, is he worth a 10-year, $240 million?
Absolutely.
Well, Seattle thinks so.
Absolutely not.
How old is he now?
He's 30,
31.
31, yeah. 30,
Yeah.
31, something like that.
Second baseman?
Good player, but I mean, nobody's
Is
worth
he going
that
to
kind
play
of
10 years?
money. No.
I just can't. I just want to be a fly on the wall on that family of four. Both, the father and mother work. They come home and they go, "Come on, kids, let's get in the car. Let's go see Robinson Cano play."
Yeah.
I just can't.
I
just
agree.
can't
I'm with
see
you,
it.
Vernon. I'm with you. Seattle has shown that they're one of the most inept franchises. And I mean, I'm not talking about the Seahawks, the Mariners.
Yeah.
They're a joke. They are an absolute
Maybe
joke.
Ken Griffey Jr. will come back.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, come back to visit.
Maybe Babe Ruth. will
Come back to get his jersey retired.
Yeah.
And does Cano really make the Mariners any better? Is he really a difference maker?
I think
It would be one thing on the management side. It would be one thing if you saw that he was going to be a draw. If he was going to sell some tickets.
He was like a Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, but
Did Mariners sell out usually?
No, they get about 20,000 a game.
Okay.
And then maybe a little bit more than that. They're getting about 20, 25,000
And
a game.
how big is their stadium?
About 40, 45.
Yeah.
But a little bit bigger than Pac Bell or AT&T or whatever.
It's a really nice stadium.
It is very nice.
I've been up
It's
there.
too bad because for 6 or 7 years that franchise was doing great,
Yeah.
and it was really one of the destinations. I mean, look at the guys they turned out: A-Rod, Griffey,
Edward Martinez.
Martinez.
yeah, Edward Martinez, Randy Johnson,
Johnson.
yeah, Felix Hernandez,
The new Giants left fielder.
yeah, that's right,
Michael Morris.
Michael Morris.
They
Seems
call
like-
him.
seems
They
like
call
a-
him the Beast.
He seems like a nice guy. You talked to him, right?
Yeah. Interview. I had him on last weekend. Yeah.
Real nice guy.
Yeah.
Why is he the
Big guy,
Yeah.
6'5".
That's why he's the beast.
Yeah, there you go. And he's got power. He's going to need it in that ballpark.
All right, last thing I want to cover here before we cut to the third commercial break. John Smoltz not getting into the Hall of Fame this year. I think it's because he had a rough 2009 year with the Red Sox. What do you think?
I think it's just wrong. I don't. Well, how can you keep John Smith?
I think it's just.
out?
Well, I think it's
Maybe
a matter. I think it's a matter of the numbers. I mean,
Yeah.
he'll get probably get it next year.
Well, why does the NFL? Vernon, I got to ask you this: why do you think the NFL lets so many more players in than Major League Baseball? Are there standards?
I think the NFL's limit is 8.
Is it? But they always have the full almost.
Well, there's so many great ones that
Yeah.
are they're eligible. There's great ones that just can't get in.
Yeah, but baseball. I mean, there's a lot
Who
of
would
guys.
have thought it would take 2 times for Michael Strahan to get in?
That's
Yeah.
true.
You know?
Well, you got. I guess with football, you've got 11 on each side, whereas with baseball, you got 9.
But let's take an example. Here's Michael Young, just retired, 13 years in the league, 300 batting average, 2,200 hits. Does he belong in the Hall of Fame? If he was playing in the NFL with those numbers, I mean, you translate those numbers into whatever stats you get in the NFL, he probably would get in.
He probably wasn't as much of an impact player.
Yeah.
Right? But here's the thing too: is like when a guy starts playing hurt and his numbers go down,
Yeah.
and you start looking at the whole career.
It can hurt you.
Yeah.
I think it can hurt you. Yeah.
And you have to get in the postseason. I think that really hurts when you do not get into the postseason.
Well, he did.
No, I'm just saying, yeah, he did, but he was never the big hero. I mean, look at Joe Namath. Joe Namath had crummy numbers.
Oh, I know.
Actually. I mean, really, he threw more interceptions than touchdowns.
But he won a Super Bowl.
But he won a Super Bowl in New York.
And
You know what I think? And I think this has hurt Tim Brown.
Yes. And
Wait,
he played for some awful
Twice as many yards, more touchdowns than Andre Reed, and Reed gets in.
I know. I don't understand that. Tim Brown's
But
been passed
Reed
over.
went to four Super Bowls.
But I mean, Tim Brown, I bet you was all pro longer and more times than Tim Brown.
He gets in next year.
Yeah, he should.
He's in.
He's been passed over twice.
Okay, hold on to that thought. We'll cover that when we come back. Okay, here's the third and final trivia question. And again, the theme is NFL quarterbacks. Who was the youngest quarterback to play in a Pro Bowl at age 22?
Ooh,
All right.
youngest to play in a Pro
Pro
Bowl.
Bowl at 22. And I'll give you a hint. I don't know how much of a hint this is. At age 23, he became the youngest to surpass the 10,000 yard.
Oh, I know
passing
who that was.
Ah, I shouldn't have given it to you.
I know who that was.
Okay.
I was kind of leaning there, and you usually push
okay,
me over.
okay,
Yeah.
that's fair enough.
I'm pretty sure. I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure.
Well, don't say it yet.
Okay,
First
I
3 emails with the correct answer. Won a free 3-day 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Email Edward@SportsEcon101. The answer to this question: who was the youngest quarterback to play in a Pro Bowl at age 22? And here's a hint: at age 23, he became the youngest to surpass the 10,000 yard passing plateau. Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back with some closing comments.
It was the guy they talked about earlier, Dan Marino, right? Oh,
No, he's not. He's not.
No, he's holding. He's
I'm
playing his
holding
cards.
I'm holding my
Edward always
cards.
plays his cards closely.
Yeah,
Do we have to do we have a few seconds to get into the ugly American attitude that's already taken on the Sochi Olympics?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I-
yeah.
all
Did you
the
buy the-
pictures with the
yeah,
pictures.
Did you
of
buy the toilet paper issue? You hear about that?
No.
What's
They don't
that?
want you. They don't want you
Well,
to
they do
flush
over there,
any
yeah.
paper down the toilet. They want you to take
Yeah.
the paper and put it in a wastebasket.
Yeah. Can you
Why?
believe that?
Because it is
But that's
such
just
a-
how they do it over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Can
Oh
you
my
imagine
God.
that spreads disease? That spreads disease.
I'm just saying they don't want any clogged toilets.
You know,
Now,
I feel
Sochi
sorry for. I feel sorry for
Uh,
the athletes. It's like
Yeah.
you have a chance to maybe go, let's say, to Rio later on, or LA.
Well, I've heard in the athletes'
Sochi.
quarters too, in the bathrooms, they have the toilets like in the military where they're all open, so you don't get any privacy. You're sitting there taking a crap, and there's not the person sitting next to you taking a
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just get a
Men
bidet.
and women, or are they separate?
I with the women, I'm sure the women have. They probably have their own stalls.
Wouldn't a bidet make more sense? Just
Yeah.
eliminate the paper altogether.
Dude, when I was at the Sydney Olympics, when you among the things you get when you check in,
A lot
just
of freebies.
bags full of condoms, bags full.
Is
of
that
them.
right?
And you can go back and get more. And
Well, that's
the
smart thinking.
and the
Smart thinking. We don't
the,
want any unwanted children.
the sexual tension and release just runs rampant in the Olympic Village.
Is that right?
Yeah,
'Cause
just
all the
born
young
dogs.
athletes-
Yeah, because they got to get rid of that
Oh yeah.
release.
Yeah, well, the women athletes too. You know, what makes the women more intense about their sexual feelings is the same thing the guys have. It's driving the guys.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
let's have some closing comments.
All right, we won't talk about that,
I gotta
though.
get out of here.
this is a
Okay,
family
here
show.
we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn
Mm-hmm.
and Bruce McGowan.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you don't sound so excited.
No, I'm very excited.
Okay, because you're excited about this question,
I am.
which is who was the youngest quarterback to play in a Pro Bowl at age 22? And here's the hint:
Go
at
get
age
him.
23, he became the youngest to surpass the 10,000-yard passing plateau.
Go get him, Bruce.
I'm going to say it's Marino.
Marino, you're wrong.
No.
I'm sorry.
I was wrong.
Anyone? Anyone?
No idea.
I have no idea.
Can you drew a?
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees.
Drew Bledsoe.
Oh, Drew Bledsoe.
Drew
From
Bledsoe.
Yes.
Washington State.
Gosh.
There you go.
That's right.
Okay, we have just a quick minute. Vern, you want to talk about the Olympics?
Well, I mean, we're in the Olympic moment, Sochi Olympics already. The complaints have come out from the American journalists about about how they don't want, they being those that run the Olympics, they don't want toilet paper flushed down. They want you to get rid of all the paper in a wastebasket next to the toilet.
Why don't you just burn it?
I don't get that at all. I mean,
That really stinks, Vern.
Ah, you're telling me.
I mean, that's spreading disease. And how is it that you
Can you
can't?
imagine coming home? Gee, what's the Chinese food? That's not Chinese food.
Oh,
Ah.
my God.
Okay, here's our thoughts for the day, guys. Okay, Gene Bach, who's a former baseball player and manager, said, losing streaks are funny. If you lose at the beginning, you get off to a bad start. If you lose in the middle of the season, you're in a slump. And if you lose at the end, you're choking.
That's what happened with him. Remember in '64 with the Phillies.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And former hockey player and coach John Mariucci, said, every day you guys look worse and worse. And today you played like tomorrow.
Oh,
I
I
love
like
that
that.
one.
That's a good one. I wonder if he was related to Steve. Steve
Steve
Mariucci.
Mariucci?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to ask
Same
him. We'll have to ask
spelling?
Same spelling?
him. I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing more sports topics from a business perspective and giving away more free vacations for answering trivia questions. I want to thank our guest, Gene Immendorf, private investigator,
Thanks
for
for
being on
having
the
me.
show. Of course, my
Where's his magnifying glass?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
and our co-hosts, of course, Bruce McGowan.
Thank you
and
very much.
Vern Glenn. Thanks for listening, audience. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
So long.
Before you guys take off, can I get a picture?
Oh, heck yeah, man.
Okay, you want